Morning. Happy Friday. Hope you had a fantastic Halloween. There is a question that I get asked a lot, so I thought I would come on and address it. And that question is, how did I know I was an alcoholic? And so I'm going to share that moment right now, but then I'll also come on in another time and talk about what I did about it. In the spring of 2014, my drinking was at an all-time high. It had gotten progressively worse. My little men were 5, turning 6. I was a marketing exec that traveled a lot. And so there was a lot of pressure at home and at work. And I was drinking daily. And I was blacking out often. And my behavior was off the charts. And so there was a longer business trip that I had in the beginning of June. And it was 5 or 6 days. And I would sit in the meetings every single day and I would make a promise to myself, only to be broken later. But that promise was, tonight it's going to be different. Tonight I'm going to control it. I'm going to go to bed early. And I'm going to feel fine sitting in a meeting tomorrow. I'm not going to feel like I do right now. And every day, it's like that promise laughed in my face, because every day it was worse. And so I was driving home from the Philadelphia airport, and it's about 45 minutes, an hour. And it was there in the kind of safety and silence of my Toyota minivan that I said out loud words that I had thought in my head for a while. And what I said was, I don't know how to control it. I'm an alcoholic. And then I just started to cry. The whole rest of the way home, I cried because I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be an alcoholic. I didn't want to look at a life where I couldn't drink. I was using it for everything at that point. My life revolved around drinking. I mean, it wasn't even going to be possible. But there are really 3 points that I want to hone in on from that moment. The first is, I did say that day in the car that I'm an alcoholic. However, I would go on to question that word with myself over and over, ad nauseum. Yeah. I was in rehab and I'd hear other people's stories and I'm like, well, I'm not like that person. I must not be, I don't belong here. I totally belong there. You know, I did my own outrageous things. And just like everything else in life, there's going to be better alcoholics and worse alcoholics, right? When you compare the behaviors, it's pointless to do. You need to focus on my next point, which is what the first sentence that I said that day in that car is, I don't know how to control it. I can't control it. And that's the critical piece of this. That day I realized that maybe I acknowledge would be a better word, but when I take my first sip, when I start drinking, all bets are off. Whatever comes will come. It's like I'm just handing over, the next couple of hours, because it's, I lose control. It's like this. It's like I was in a tug of war and I'm on one side of the rope and alcohol's on the other, and there's a big pit of mud in the middle. And every time I'd get on that rope and I'd be pulling and pulling, 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 pulling. And on the other side is the alcohol and it just goes, bam, and I'm in the mud. Here's the thing. This is what I do. I get up out of the mud. I go in and shower. maybe do a couple of bench presses, a couple of push-ups, and then go right back out, only to get on the rope again, only to lose again. And that happened hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And it's like that day in the car, I finally realized, I finally said, I can't win this. I'm not going to be able to win. I can't control it. And that is the question that, you know, if you are having these thoughts, that you need to ask yourself. And then the third piece of this is alcohol was on the main thing on the other end of my tug of war, but there are plenty of other things on the other side of ropes. I don't know what's on the other side of your rope. It may be food, it may be sugar, it may be sex, it may be gambling, it may be cigarettes. But is there something that you go to battle with every freaking day only to end up in the mud, only to not win? Because I do know also that when I took away the alcohol, I was in a battle with other things too. Something was there to take its place. So if you find that you are in this battle, in this tug of war, and you are tired of playing the game, there is plenty of help. And you can always reach out to me if you have more questions. But there's plenty of help. And I would also add that, you know, this video, you may not, this may not resonate with you at all. You may not be in a tug of war. And honestly, I hope that's the case. I really do. But chances are you may know somebody who is. So I would encourage you to consider sharing it. Because you or they need to know that life can get a lot better if you learn to stay away from the rope, learn to stay away from the war. So on that lighthearted note, I hope you have a fantastic weekend.